Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 BMW M3 Competition. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this sedan for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. So this M3 is finished off in David Gray Metallic. It has an MSRP just over $94,000. And powering the M3, you will find the 3-liter twin-power turbo inline 6-cylinder paired to that 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque, sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,400-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Top speed is 180 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 189.1. It has a width of 74.3 and a height of 56.5 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this M3, let's start off with the kidney design for the grille. So on the previous few models, it has become a larger grille, but I think it looks really good, especially on the M cars. There's a forward-facing camera right in the middle, plenty of cutouts provide a lot of cooling as well as sensors, and then the M3 comp badge is on that driver's side. Now we have the standard BMW badge in the middle. You can opt for the 50 years badge if you would like to get that. This also has LED headlights with that laser light technology. You can tell because it has the blue accents within the housing. This has LED DRLs and turn signals, of course, too. And then there are plenty of cutouts in the lower section as well as the inlets on the far edges to provide a lot more cooling and better aerodynamics. Really nice to see a small hint of gloss black in the corners of the lower section. And then that grille is nicely integrated because of the lines in the hood, I think. We have the lines that go off the top with the indentions in the hood just to make it blend in a little bit nicer. Now, as we work our way to the side, this has a staggered setup for the wheels. They're 19 up front, 20 in the rear. This also has the M Sport adaptive suspension, as well as those M brakes, finished off in red. We have gloss black for those wheels, which matches nicely with the rest of the gloss black accents. It's on the lower side skirt, the trim piece just behind the tire. And then for the power folding side mirrors, there's the turn signal as well as the camera. And it has that floating design to it. A lot of the M cars only are connected in the lower section with that upper section, giving it that nice floating look. Now, with this M3, this also gets the full carbon fiber roof, which is really nice to see. Everything else is gloss black, of course, all the window trim, and then there's really nice lines that run down the side. Gives it a good, aggressive look for the design of the side. Now in back, I do wish this was carbon fiber, but there's the gloss black trunk mounted spoiler, backup camera with all of these sensors, and then we have that quad tip dual exhaust and some more gloss black. Now you can also remote start this, so I'm gonna triple tap on the lock button. Let's bring this M3 to life. You can also use that button. You triple tap it, it will shut off, which is a nice feature. There is a button on the key fob too for the power trunk, or you can use the one up underneath, and from there it will open up and you have a lot of space for this family style sedan. With the back seats up, you can get a sense of it. There's no storage underneath the floor, but there's a storage net on one side and then a small cubby on the other. And then you can fold down the back seats, just pull these tabs on both sides. And of course, that gives you a lot more interior space, just depending on what you need to place in the back. And with the power trunk, you can close it, or the one on the right side will also lock it at the same time. And then from there, you can actually unlock the vehicle from the back door handles, which is a convenient feature to have. And this model is paired with the Fiona red leather for the interior. Beautiful combo. You'll notice that on the door panel. Harman Kardon for the sound system, interior ambient lighting, lots of brushed aluminum accents too. And then two-tone for these seats with the black leather running through the middle. This also gets the BMW colors stitched on all of these seat belts. And at 5'10", I have a good amount of space in the back, plenty of room for my legs. There's climate adjustments, temperature, where you'd like the air to go, even some USB-Cs. And then for headroom, I have about an inch or so above my head. Very comfortable. For a sedan like this, that's what you would expect. So you can have people in the back very easily. Now there's no center armrest for cup holders. However, you can fold this middle seat down by itself if you want to use that as an armrest. And then of course that will give you access into the trunk if you need it. And then plenty of visibility, very thin pillars, so it's easy to see from the back seats. Now as we work our way to the front door panel, we have all the window adjustments, side mirror adjustments of course, even memory seating controls. We have the rear trunk release and some more storage space. Everything else is pretty much the same. M3 is down on the door sill, and then a little bit more aggressive of a front seat, M3 badge, lateral support of course, all the automatic adjustments with the one manual adjustment for that leg support if you need that. And it's a low car, so it's just as easy to get into these front seats, where we are greeted with the solid steering wheel. It's an M steering wheel, of course, carbon fiber, more of the BMW colors, even M1 and M2, carbon fiber paddle shifters, and a lot of controls to go over. So let's fire this back up. On the right side, volume, tuning, even Bluetooth and voice commands. If I push on the center button, that's how you can quickly get to your content and your head-up display. So just by pushing on that and then using this rotary dial, we can scroll through the various content within that digital gauge cluster. So look at trip data, you have a calm screen if you'd like to see it, and then we can go back through what I just showed. As far as your map goes too, you can pull that up in full screen, and then you have your setup and some other vitals that you can monitor. So a lot of info to go through, which is pretty neat. And then if you scroll over to the head-up display, currently it is showing the directional view. So there's a compass along with miles per hour and the speed limit sign. Standard just goes to miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And then there's also the reduced view, which is very similar to standard, and that is it for your head-up display. But for the rest of this gauge cluster, miles per hour, fuel level on the left side, engine temperature and tach on the right side. And then you can also go through some more info using the button on the top of that turn signal stalk. So if you push on that, you can go through your odometer as well as some trip information in that lower section. And then on the rest of the steering wheel, left side, all the cruise control settings. This is even a heated steering wheel. And then you have shortcuts to your M1 and your M2. So you can activate those as needed and set this vehicle up the way that you would like to. We'll get back to that once we get to the infotainment system. Now on the left side, all the headlight adjustments, there's even some storage down below. More of that interior ambient lighting. Hopefully you can see it is blue at the moment. We have more leather and stitching on the entire dash. And as you can tell, the gauge cluster and infotainment system is one large curved screen. We have a blank area in the middle, which is perfect for where the steering wheel blocks it. And then for the setup here on the upper left, we have several icons that you can go through. You can use all of the controls down below to further go through this information if needed. So you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, your seat comfort. And when you go into driving settings, if you go into a setup, this is how you can configure M1 and M2 on the steering wheel. So if I go into M1, this is currently how it is set up. I'm going to have M1 in the most efficient setting, and then M2 is going to be in the most sport-tuned setting. As you can tell right now, there's a few things that I will change, but it is nice that you have the ability to quickly do that just depending on how you are driving for the day. Now, if we go to the home screen, there's navigation, the current setup. So this is how it's in right now using M2, radio and phone. You can go into some customized settings and look at some more vitals, even add some information just depending on what you would like to see. And then on this left side, we have fixed info like the map. You can get into your phone and your music too. So it's an easy system to use, and you can quickly get into your climate menu because that is always fixed in the lower section. That also allows you to go into your heated and ventilated seats and your passenger controls too. Temperature is always fixed in that lower section. So it makes it very convenient to get to. Now there's more carbon fiber underneath that and brushed aluminum, 2 air vents in the middle, volume and tuning adjustments, some other recert controls. And then underneath this carbon fiber lid, there are 2 cup holders, wireless charging. We have the BMW Active card here, if I can get that out. You can use this in place of your key fob, so if you're going swimming or something, this is definitely beneficial to have over the key fob itself. But wireless charging, more auxiliaries if you need to use those. We have the rest of those controls with all these shortcuts up top. And then on the left side of the shifter, there's traction control as well as a shortcut to the camera system. So currently the rear facing camera is on, and if I push on that again there, we can bring that back up. if I put this into a drive and push on that camera button, now we have the full forward-facing camera, which is of course great to have. Going back into reverse, we have a few pinpoints on that top-down view on the right side, so you can easily get to that. Or you can go to the 360, where you can just push on all of these and you can see around this entire vehicle. Makes it very convenient to have. There's even a car wash setting too, or a top-down view with the guidelines that you can use as needed. And then there's also the engine start stop. We have the engine start stop button, as well as a few different settings behind that. There's the exhaust note, a setup, and M mode. What M mode is going to do is allow you to go between road and sport. When you change it to sport, the entire gauge cluster will change with how the vehicle is set up on one side, and then you have a few vitals on that right side. So just depending on how you'd like to drive, M mode definitely looks a lot more sporty, of course. And then for the shifter, pulling it to the right is for drive as well as sport mode. That allows you to use the paddle shifters. Reverse is over and up. It will hold in reverse, of course. Neutral's in the middle. You have park on the back side. You can even adjust how you would like the transmission to shift. 3 different settings that I will go over once we get it out on the road. Auto hold and the e-brake are just behind that. Plenty of storage in the armrest too, as well as in the glove box, where you can put a lot more items. And then as far as visibility goes, very open, thin pillars in the back, so you can clearly see over both shoulders. As we set off now behind the wheel for this almost 6-figure BMW M3, I absolutely love driving this vehicle. Now, if you don't get the Competition, you just get a, what I'll call a base M3, you can actually get the 6-speed manual transmission. So you have to get one or the other, manual in the base, automatic for the Competition, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. You can get rear wheel in this too, and you can configure it too to where it's not in the 4-wheel drive setting. So you have a lot of different configurations for this sedan, depending on what fits your budget and what you are looking to do. Now, I'm going to put it into the M mode setting. I'm going to put the transmission shifts to the quickest. We're going to put it into M2 as well, because that is where I have everything set up and ready to go. Wow. I'm not doing anything too crazy today. I've been able to drive this a lot. Not this exact one, but not even quarter throttle. This is a fast sedan. If you're looking for a performance-oriented vehicle, but you have a family, you need the practicality of a sedan, this is a perfect option to go with. I personally would probably go with the manual transmission. You can tune that and get some power back into it because the Comp has a little bit more power. And what I really like about this is that by using the button on the back of the shifter, so you can put it into one of the 3 settings, depending on whether you want to use the paddles or you want the car to shift itself, it's a completely different vehicle. So right now in setting 1, I want to say it's slow and sluggish. It's still pretty good. It's more of like a normal car. So if you're just driving on a daily basis, you don't want it to rev out higher, you just want it to shift normal, or even with the paddles, you can easily do that. If you're on back roads, you're on the track, you want to do some better driving, look at how quick that is. I mean, you can row through those gears as quickly or as slowly as you want. It's such a cool it's got so many settings that you're buying more than just one car basically. But for almost 100 grand, some other options you can look at, you have the Cadillac CT5 4 or 5V Blackwing. You can get into an RS7, maybe some AMGs from Mercedes. You have a good bit of sedan options for that price tag. All are going to suit your needs. However, you have different options, of course, for whatever you like. For me, I drive a lot of BMWs. I'm a huge fan of them, and I don't think you can go wrong with this M3. If you need a little bit more space, you can go up to the M5. But this is such a good driving vehicle. It is so planted, very quiet too. You're in a 6-figure BMW, but you're in a BMW nonetheless. So you get all of the refinements from this luxury brand to really make this a great daily driver. With it in 2nd gear, here we go. And just like that, we are up to speed. Now, this is such a fun family style sedan to get. I love everything about all of the different settings you can put this into, just depending on how you would like to drive for the day. Now, being the competition, it's going to cost significantly more, especially with the options that you want compared to the base M3. So just depending on your budget, what you're willing to spend, I'd say there's about a $20,000, maybe a $25,000 difference between the two. And again, it's just speccing it with whatever options that you would like. But for me, this is definitely a great option to go with. I drive a lot of BMWs. I've been in other vehicles like the Cadillac competitors that I've mentioned, some of the AMG models from Mercedes, and they're all great, but the amount of BMWs that I drive and just how well they drive is something that has definitely drawn me to the brand. Now, they're also becoming more reliable too. Toyota has a small stake in BMW. I would comfortably say anything 2020 and newer is going to be pretty bulletproof and reliable. Obviously, you have to keep up with your maintenance for that. But personally, I'm looking at BMWs. My brother has a Toyota Supra, which is mainly BMW with the B58 engine. So you have the reliability now, you have a lot of performance. This is, I would say, one of the ultimate performance-oriented family-style sedans that you can get. It is super comfortable, easy to drive to. You can put it into M1, or should I say, you can put it into the more efficient setting, which could be M1, and basically have a normal daily driver. So if you're stuck in traffic, you just want it to be more of a normal vehicle compared to what I'm doing right now. Let's pop it into drive, activate M1. Now everything is in efficient mode. Let's give it some gas here. And it just seems like a normal vehicle. Now we are in the second transmission setting there, so it's going to hold those gears a little bit more, but it's very nice to drive with the amount of tech that it has like that. Really good daily driver, plenty of room, comfortable, well refined as a BMW should be. And honestly, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. I've been in them a lot. Not enough to have ownership experience, of course, but the times that I've been in them, it seems like a good platform to go with. If you need a little bit more space, you can opt for the M5, but the M3 is, I think it's a good size sedan, especially for the money. You're getting a lot of car for that money. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this walk around review and test drive in the 24 BMW M3 Competition. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this car. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.